have so much to talk about in today's MLB recap. Team USA got waxed, like absolutely waxed by Team Mexico, and all credit in the world goes to them. But now a lot of USA fans are asking the question, why do we not have our best team on the field? Where's Garrett Cole? Where's Dylan Cease, Alek Manoah? Where's all of our top dogs? Speaking of top dogs, Venezuela might be that team right now, along with Team Japan. They look like absolute powerhouses. And also, breaking news coming out of the Trevor Bauer camp, he has signed with a new team, but what team is that? Is it in America? Is it in Japan? Where is he going to be playing in 2023? Now, before we talk about Trevor Bauer and the WBC, I do want to give a few shout outs to some guys that we haven't really talked about. Ian Happ, he had a breakout season in 2022. He had 42 doubles, 17 home runs. He won a Gold Glove. I'm not saying that he's a superstar just yet, but he could be a dark horse MVP type of player if the Cubs can make some noise and, exceed expectations, maybe make the playoffs. I don't know if that's going to happen. He had a web gem in left field. He left everything with the home run. Ian Happ is a pretty solid player, and if the Cubs don't perform up to expectations, look for him to get shipped at the deadline. We know that Ian Happ has an opening day spot. It is his, it is secured. James Outman, on the other hand, of the Dodgers, not so much, but he is trying his best to earn an opening day roster spot. He has 2 home runs and 8 RBIs so far in spring while basically hitting 400. His defense has been really good, and this comes after he looked impressive debuting in 2022 in the big league. So for me, if I'm Dave Roberts, I believe that James Outman has made the opening day spot. He has earned it, especially after what we saw in his big league debut, even though it was only 13 at-bats. Regardless, James Outman, he's really good. And one more Dodger before we talk about the former Dodger, Trevor Bauer, Dustin May. He is looking more and more like the Dustin May that we saw before he had to undergo Tommy John surgery. He has 13 strikeouts already in spring. He is striking people out left and right. I can't wait to see him continuing to build and build on his comeback, add strength to that arm. Dustin May is one of the nastiest starting pitchers I've ever seen. He throws 101. His slider is devastating. I would not want to face that guy ever. Now we're going to talk about Trevor Bauer. I promise you guys I was going to update you on this situation, whether it was good news or bad news, whatever you want to take this as. Trevor Bauer is most likely never going to pitch again in Major League Baseball, and this has pretty much been confirmed by a leak report. He signed a 1-year deal with the Yokohama Bay Stars. If I botched that name, please let me know in the comments down below, but he got a 1-year deal worth $4 million. So again, to me, this most likely is inferring that Major League Baseball and their owners are done with Trevor Bauer. He has essentially been kicked out, and he's got to go play in Japan now. Now, one player I do want to talk about real quick, Kyle Lewis, the former Rookie of the Year with the Mariners. It kind of is so weird to say that out loud because I fully believe that he was going to be a big star in Seattle for at least the next decade, but unfortunately, injuries have really hampered his career. Now, fortunately for him, the Diamondbacks, they believe in him. They have so many left-handed outfielders where they want to have some diversity out there and some versatility, so they brought in Kyle Lewis. He is raking in spring training, and I don't know if that's because the Diamondbacks, they hired Grady Sizemore to work with these young outfielders. Grady, he knows what Kyle is going through. Grady was once upon a time one of the most talented players in baseball until injuries took over. So if anyone's going to be a mentor to Kyle Lewis, it's going to be Grady Sizemore, and I'm just happy that both of them are kind of working out right now. Let's talk about a few more guys who we haven't talked about once in the spring training MLB recaps, and again, we'll talk about the WBC in just a moment. Stick around. Zach Neto of the Angels has an absolute cannon. He is ranked as the 53rd best prospect in all of baseball, according to Major League Baseball. He's not hitting all that well, but he hit 320 in AA last year, and his defense, it's off the charts. He has an absolute hose piece, like a Carlos Correa type cannon over at shortstop. The 14th overall pick from 2020, Justin Foscue. He plays on the Rangers. He might mess around and make the squad later on in the year, and he can make some noise for Texas. He's batting .455 with 3 home runs. I don't know exactly where he's going to play because you have Marcus Semien at second base. You have Josh Young at third base. They also have Corey Seager, so there's no way that makes sense unless he gets some outfield reps, and they do have some spots in the outfield where he can play. One name I am very excited to talk about, Corey Lee. Now, he really disappointed in his debut season last year for the Astros. It was only a handful of games, so you can't really judge him, but Corey Lee, again, he's a catcher who had 20 doubles and 25 home runs last year in AAA. Those are crazy numbers for a backstop, and I know that Martin Maldonado, he's the machete. He has a hose. He's going to cut down runners pretty much every chance you give him. But for me, the Astros can become even more lethal and dangerous if Corey Lee actually works out, and considering how good he was at AAA, there's no way that he can't be a 85 to 90 OPS plus guy with some good pop behind the dish. Oscar Colas of the White Sox, he did it again. I really believe that he could be a dark horse AL Rookie of the Year player for the White Sox. Not really much else to talk about, but he is continuing to rake in spring training. He is going to get 350 to 400 at-bats for the White Sox. So if you're a fantasy guy, make sure you keep his name in the conversation of someone that no one's talking about, but he could put up insane production. And also, I do want to bring up Ronnie Mauricio. He did it again. This dude is a freaking beast. 4 home runs, 8 RBIs, a stolen base. The Mets traffic jam with young guys continues. How is Francisco Alvarez going to get ABs when he hasn't won the catching job? Where's Ronnie Mauricio and Brett Beatty going to play? Too many young guys, but that's a good problem to have. Last thing before we recap the World Baseball Classic, I do want to talk about Yusei Kikuchi. He's on the Jays, and then we'll talk about his Blue Jays teammate Jose Barrios because he got spanked. I know that this was recorded on an Xbox Connect. It's recorded in 6 FPS. I'm sorry about that, but he has 13 strikeouts in spring. He has not allowed a single earned run in just under 10 innings. On the other hand, yeah, you can't really say the same about Jose Barrios in the World Baseball Classic. So maybe Barrios, I don't know if he's going to fall out of the rotation if Yusei is actually Yusei in 2023. Pablo Lopez was pumping 97 with that added WBC adrenaline against Jose Barrios, who got rocked by Anthony Santander. Santander, another home run. Salvi hit a little piss missile, and later on, he took advantage of Ronald Acuna Jr. getting his first base hit and Ronald being on base. It's so much fun to watch. Like, Ronald rounding the bases might be one of my favorite things to watch in all of Major League Baseball. So in one day, we saw Jose Barrios get absolutely rocked, and on the other hand, Yusei Kikuchi looks better and better. We have Team Israel versus Team Nicaragua. We have Philly's backup catcher, aka Israel's third baseman, Garrett Stubbs. He clears the bases with a double in the 8th inning off of Jonathan Loaizaga, and then he grabs his how do I say this? He grabs his gonads like he's Baker Mayfield in college in celebration. The WBC is a lot of fun. That's all I'm going to say. Canada faced off against Great Britain, and man, they let the floodgates open. But real quick, I just want to say that Great Britain's jerseys, it seems like a 4-year-old made them. Like, graphic design is my passion type energy. But anyways, they were so bad yesterday. Canada put up 10, and it looked like it would be a bloodbath until 20-year-old Harry Ford hit a 3-run home run. He became the youngest player ever to homer in the World Baseball Classic. Just unfortunately, Canada, they broke down the dam again. Freddie had 2 base hits. Tyler O'Neill got on base 6 times. He went 4 for 4. And not gonna lie, Canada has some pieces like Edward Julian. He's sneaky dangerous. I believe he plays for the Twins. 26 runs total in this game. That is a WBC record. Korea got pretty close all by themselves. We'll talk about them later on. Also, Canada, by the way, had 14 walks. You know what? Let's just go ahead and talk about Korea back to back because they put up 22 runs. They had 2 grand slams. One came from Ha-seung Kim. Ha-seung Kim is leading everyone in the home runs with 3. He has a 1028 OPS, which is insane, but he's only hitting 188, so that is baseball in a nutshell and kind of the new age of sabermetrics. If you have a really high OPS, hitting 188 doesn't matter. So Great Britain and Canada, they scored a combined 26 runs, and then in this one, Korea scored 22 runs all by themselves. That is a WBC record for one single team in one game. We had the Czech Republic versus Team Australia. Alex Hall, he led the charge for Team Australia. He hit a home run, and no BS, it seemed like it was hit 500 feet. Got to be such a cool moment for him because he has been pretty awful in the minors, not gonna lie to you guys, but maybe this gives him a bit more of a leash with the Brewers. He had 4 RBIs in this one, and the trend just seems to be you'll need at least 8 to 9 runs if you want to beat Team Australia because their offense is legit and they clinch a spot in the quarterfinals. Now let's go and talk about Team USA versus Mexico. 30-year-old rookie phenom, still crazy to say that out loud, 30-year-old rookie Joey Meneses, he punches a no-doubter and he bat flipped in front of the entire crowd. It was so much fun to watch. Randy, yet again, he delivers in a playoff atmosphere. He is so good when it matters. He had 3 hits on the day. Meneses, he does it again. Such a great story again. He played the minors for his entire career. He got his debut at 30 years old in 2022, and he is making the most of it. Randy and Rowdy, they make it an 11th spot, and Team USA pitching, they got spanked, and that's the biggest question. Where's Garrett Cole? Where's Alek Manoah? Where's all of our top guys? The counter argument is pretty simple. All of these top guys have gotten a bag from their respective Major League Baseball clubs, and owners are probably telling them, hey, we need you to win a World Series, and that means more to us than you playing in the WBC. I mean, I can't really fault them for that, but all the other teams and countries, they've got all of their best players, even though they're big league players. They're going out there. Patrick Sandoval, he looked nasty yesterday. But guys, that does it for me. If you watched until this point in the video, I just want to say thank you so much. Have a great rest of your day, and if you're bored, check out this video right here.